Hello everybody and welcome back. It's still me, Eugene, and it's still Real Time Podcast. We still have David Benson and we still have Shama amidst us discussing navigating Christianity in a modern world. In the first segment, we discussed faith and identity. If you haven't got a chance to watch that, you can go back and watch it. Now we are going to the second segment, which is navigating challenges. I'll set with this question. What's the biggest challenge you face as a Christian in today's world, and how do you overcome it? You've been a Christian for 31 years. You must have faced a lot of challenges.
Christianity is a journey, and in this journey, of course, you can't miss challenges. Challenges are part of the journey. Challenges begin from the self. Like, how do you overcome self? Because we are born with a selfish nature. You want things for yourself, you want to live for yourself, you want to grab things for yourself. An example, take two children in a room, two young children in a room, get two toys, throw two toys in that room, every child will go for both toys. They don't want to share each. So it's part of our nature to be selfish. Right? So overcoming self is a big challenge because there's what your eye looks at, the desires of the eyes, the desires of the flesh, the pride of life. As a human being, your soul gives you self-consciousness, where you really want to be on top of everything. You want to be the best at everything. Okay? So it becomes a real challenge overcoming self, so that you become selfless. I think that is the highest level of sacrifice that even Jesus did. Jesus allowed himself, he gave up himself to die for us. So that thing has been a challenge to me, and I still grapple with it, that how can I overcome self on a daily basis? And I believe that it's just by the grace of God. I'm not saying that I succeed every day. I don't. I'll be lying if I say that I'm perfect. I'm far from it. I'm not. But I pray that God grants me grace to strive. It's a striving, it's a race, it's a journey. So to me, you are asking the greatest challenge, I think it is overcoming self. Because when you overcome self, the devil is nothing.
Yeah.
When you overcome self, the world is nothing. Because most of the things you are tempted by, most of the things that you want is because of self. So overcoming the nature, the selfish nature of being, I think that's one of the greatest challenges that I have to deal with daily. And by God's grace, we're trying.
I think it's also Paul who says that I want to do good, but I find myself doing bad, So overcoming flesh, I agree with that. Shama.
Okay.
Say my eyes, say my
Yes, okay, thank you so much once again. For me, I'll say the greatest challenge in the scope of Christianity, especially in this time, is to maintain, we are going to be different creatures. We are going to be decent people in decent time. And it's very much difficult with everything being the way they are. This time we're living in drugs, and things are so weird. And it is very much difficult to be the person we are called to be. God informs us that we should walk in holiness and righteousness. So maintaining that path, I think, is the most difficult, because each and every single day you wake up, you must discipline yourself. You must learn how to beat your own. You must learn how to obey. You must learn how to sacrifice yourself. It's just a journey of how you can overcome yourself, so that you may make God manifest. So to me, that is
Overcome yourself. Wow. I think everybody struggles with that. Now, one of the challenges also we face as Christians, criticism and skepticism. I'd like to know, how do you respond to these two? Criticism and skepticism about your faith. How do you respond to somebody coming and criticizing your faith, or giving speculations about your faith?
It is easy, very easy to deal with somebody who is not quote unquote Christian, who say doubts your faith or criticizes your faith. It's another thing when they are criticized for being lame in the house. The psalmist says, I think it's Psalm 50 or 55, actually 50, says that if it was an enemy that came up against me, I'll bear it. Okay. If it was on the other side who hit and me hard, I can stand it. But it was you, a man my equal. We took sweet counsel together to the house of God. So it's a different ballgame when you are criticized from within the house and criticized from without. Back to your question. Critics will always be there. It is because God created us to be unique. God created us to be different. God did not create us to be the same. And so it will be a fallacy, it will be not right for me to want people to be in my image. I didn't create anyone. Everyone is created in the image of God. So having said that, when somebody criticizes me or criticizes us, first of all, I look at the merits. Is it something I'm responding to? Is it will it make a difference? Is it my ego that is targeted so that I can fight back? Okay? So oftentimes I ignore critics. Oftentimes, so long as I have a conviction that what I'm doing is right, I ignore critics. Okay? Of course, at times it weighs you down because people can criticize you badly. People can hurl insults at you in a very sick way. Okay? Look, a quick example. Today, if you see, as I told you, people are unique, and the people are called differently. There are pastors who are called to be within the four walls of the church, to preach inside the church. There are people who are called to preach outside the crusade grounds. There are people who are called to minister to people in offices and workplaces. Okay? The people who are called to minister to, say, fisherfolk, people at the beaches and all that. Okay? And then there are people who are called, look, I've heard of pastors or preachers who are called to witness or to preach to drug taking people, drug addicts. There's someone called to preach to prostitutes. Okay? And I want you to imagine this, Eugene. You find a person in a street in the night, say at around 10 in the night, and you find him seated with a lady in the street, a lady who is dressed sleepily. What runs into your mind? Upasi translate. I know what I'm saying. Then if I go out and I hear you begin to criticize me for that, I'll not respond. I'll not. Because I was on a mission. Look, the things I can do, you can't do. It is given. The things you can do, I can't do. Your call is not my call. My call is not your call. So unfortunately for us, the critics basically wants to create a religion of their own, and they want everyone to fit in that religion. And that is not right, because people are called differently. Moses was called differently from Elijah. The apostles were different. The call of Joseph was different. The call of Jacob, from the call of David. Everybody had their role to play. The Bible says in Acts 13:36 that after David had accomplished the will of God in his generation, he rested in his father. So there's the will of God for David in his generation. There's the will of God for me, there's the will of God for him. But unfortunately, when you don't want to understand, you don't understand, you criticize badly. Okay? So I pray, to me, I ignore critics a lot because so long as I have a conviction of what I'm doing is right, at the end of the day, it is me and God, man. At the end of the day, I gave you a call to preach to prostitutes. Why did you preach to them? I gave you a call to see. God will not love your enemies and hate your friends. Or will not love your friends and hate your enemies. You can't recruit God to hate your enemies, you know. So, and God's understanding is not limited to me or you. Okay, so it's important to understand that when people criticize you, it's because sometimes they're insecure. Okay, you can love people they can't love. You can work with they can't work. So what happens? They criticize you. Okay, so at the end of the day, what call do you have? If somebody understands himself, then you'll be secure in your own space, so that whether it is criticism or skepticism, you'll be able to handle it with a stride. Do what God has called you to do. Achieve. That's my part.
I love the point that you say preachers are called to do different tasks. One of these preachers who faced criticism, thinking the reason past was a Catholic priest who went to the bar to preach in the bar, and he made it like a tour, saying like, I'm afraid I'll be at this bar preaching, and people would come, but he will face criticism from fellow Christians.
Yes, exactly.
Because they don't understand his mission or his calling. So I really love that. Shama, what's the biggest, how do you respond to criticism and skepticism?
Okay, for me, I settle the matter when I say that if your criticism will not help me in any way, it's better if you make a to kind of jazz. For lack of better words, it's better to just ignore what you're saying if they're not helping me or building me in a way, because I've seen also your friends may criticize you to help you, but there are people who will criticize you just to bring you down, they are insecure about you. So if the criticism will not help me in any way, instead it will make me feel demoralized, or will not give me the stamina to keep on doing what I'm doing.
I hear you have that, because there are also people who criticize you out of goodwill. They want the best for you. This is a bit personal. I'd like both of you to share a time when your faith was tested and how you navigated it. A time in your life where you think your faith was tested, and then how do you go around it? Maybe you can start with Fred.
Quite a number. Let me give you a simple one. I came from college. I came from high school, went to college. I reported, I think it was 2 or 3 days late. So I found when guys had already sat, we were just sitting from the back in college, you know how we don't want to sit next to the lecture.
Yeah.
So I sat, people were sitting from the back, and I found one seat up in Belly. Then when I get there, I look at the lady sitting next to me, and I introduced myself. I was leaving that city. I say, hi, my name is Benson. And they only trained in the Christian, you know?
Yeah.
My name is Benson George. I'm born again, love Jesus. And the lady says, oh, my name is so and so. I'm also born again. They say, wow, he missed me. I am born again. This is nice.
You did that when you were.
Yes, I got excited. I turned back and I saw a tall guy from another city. And I did it. Oh, my name is Benson. I'm born again. Oh, the guy laughed out loud. Until I felt it felt so embarrassing. Am I done a mistake or what? Also, when is he laughing at me? Yeah. So, as we did the same college, when I got in, I made friends, some 3 friends who I became good friends with, but they were not born again. Of course, eventually one got born again, I can't go for that after we left college. But the kind of stories in this story, I'll find myself in a bit of a conflict. Like they don't augur well with my faith.
Yeah.
As young people, you know the stories that young people can be talking about. You talk about girls, you talk about drugs, you talk about the weekend party after party and stuff like that. It got to a point when I said, no. And I'm a bit vocal, so I will give them my mind based on the Bible God knows. I'm not telling them the Bible says this. They just say, no, I think that is not right. That's wrong. Because of ABCD. Until you go to a point when my only friends in college told me, there's nothing we can talk about with you. We can't agree on anything. Okay, apart from what we've come to learn in school years old. Bye-bye. I took it in stride. I said, well, it's fine, no problem. I had to think critically. And that's the time when God granted us grace to get a few of us, there were a number of people who were born again in the same college. And it was a Roman Catholic college where we could allowed to meet as Christians or see you in the college. So we went and talked to a pastor outside the college, and we began fellowship in a church just outside the college. And we began to get our fellowship. Like our fellowship come.
That's an amazing story. That people would. I think it's important to say that you're vocal about your faith, because I think even me entering college, that was something that the challenge that I really faced. I went to college, and when you're in a foreign land, nobody knows you're born again. And majority are not, of course. So I found people who personally are Christians, but not because they want to learn in with the environment that they found in college. They started denying their faith or not living out their faith fully. That was one of my biggest challenges in life, because anytime you sit to be speaking about the secular music, fashion trends, drugs, it reached a point where the people who are considered so close, we could cook together, eat together, are now plotting to let's go and steal that house or that thing. So, and I think God gave me grace in that moment in time to really stand my ground as a Christian. And I said, I'm not going to deny it. Of course, I never denied it, but I did nothing about it. So I think one of the things I did that I really acknowledge, I really love every young person who is going through the same thing is to live out your faith. Let them see and let them make a decision if they're going to stay or not. I have a very huge Bible freedom here. I study Bible, it's a gift for now. So I took it and I placed it on top of the table. And everybody who comes in and see the Bible will be like, I'm not a Christian. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a Christian. To be like an icebreaker, So I'm a Christian. Now they started limiting the stories that they make with me, which is fine. They started limiting the kind of, because then you find that people had the audacity to invite you to parties, because they think so, I'm a Christian. Invite you to night clubs, invite you to go and steal things like that, or to drink. But now when they saw that now they started limiting. We only communicate on matters that affect both of us, and it really helped me, I think, my faith. And with the time now, I think it gave courage to most of the students around me. At Shita Points, one of my colleagues would call them to go and pray behind my house, because of course she was afraid. She had some challenges and she was afraid. So she called me to go and pray with them in the house. There were a number of them. So I think leave out your faith, let them see and make a decision. Are they going to stay or not? If they're going to stay, then it's the will of God. If they are not, then it's not. And maybe God will use you also to change some of them. Shama, what about you?
Okay, for me, more or less just the same thing. Like, we are now in a position where we are separated. And that's what the Bible says, that I'm going to separate you from the good works. But Mungu pia sijalifanya aje. He said he's going to separate you for the good works. But I did not know that he also going to separate you from everyone. Because right now I'm in a position where I'm okay with the people want to go or remain, people want to be friends or want to speak or things like that. That's when I entered college also. You're in a place where you just see, unaonekana kama mkiaji tu, kumokoka, jeki. Unasoma Biblia, wewe ni mkiaji. Unaenda siku, wewe ni mkiaji. Hawendi party, uko na maswala. Like you are not for them, like
you don't fit to the social class.
You don't fit in. And one thing that happened the most is that it's not only with the friends in school, also in families. Because tulikuwa tukizijuzi tumeenda ushauri na tulikuwa nasoma kwa za New Year's. Sasa ndio watu wana transition kwenda New Year's. Si unajua tu tunaanza kufungua maboxes na makaunti zinatoka. Mafunzo zinatoka na zinajaa hiyo. Sasa mikono hapo nasema hapo na dada changu. Sasa mimi kajitoa tu kwa hivyo. Vile tunajitoa hivyo. Unasikia tu jina lako kwa mwisho na hapo ati ule bwana panga na ukiaji ule sasa hizi kana sisi juu tunafanya some vitu kama things like that. And that's I say is one of the biggest challenges. But the way God helped me is that God gave me people who are more or less have the same standings as me. God gave me friends. Because that kind of arrangement, I knew that this is not the place for me. So I mean, nikaenda huko nyuma nikachukua simu and I call my best friend, my spiritual partner, the people I pray with. I call them, tukaenda kwa simu, alafu kuchapa madini zetu, tunakata huko, tunapiga matamu zetu, and it just strengthens us. You know, it just gives me the strength to keep on. Because when I have people who I can share with these things, it helps me to realize that I'm not alone in this journey. Because this thing is tough. Because also, same yesterday, my sister, where I was feeling low spiritually. So I called my friend to charge in tongues. And then kikasikiza akaingia akaniuliza nini tunafanya, au sasa nikamwambia si tunaongea kwa nini, kwa kaanza kucheka alicheka hivi akaniuliza kwa nini gani sisi tunachapa tu mandili, tena akaanza kusema sawa wewe na Mungu wako mnatupima sawa. So that's it for me.
Thank you for sharing your personal experience. That being said, I think we'll go on another short break. When we come back, we'll tackle living out your faith. See you then.